Here comes to the part 2 of present perfect tense. In the previous video, I have introduced present perfect tense to you. Let's do a little recap and see if you are able to identify present perfect tense in a sentence. Take a look at these sentences. Can you tell me which sentences are in present perfect tense and which are not? And for us to identify tenses in a sentence, we look at the verbs. So take a look at these sentences and see if you can identify the tenses in them. As you can see in the first 4 sentences, present perfect tense is used. How do I know? Take a look at the verbs. Sentence 1, she has finished her homework. So we can see has and then finished, the past participle. So we know that this is present perfect tense. And then sentence 2, he has eaten a sandwich. We can see has and then PP, past participle, eaten. Then we know it is in present perfect tense. And then number 3, I have been to Italy before. I can see the word have, and then we can see PP, the past participle of be. So we know sentence 3 is in present perfect tense too. And then number 4, have you called your mom? It is a question, but we can also see have, and then the past participle called. So we know it is in present perfect tense. Then what about number 5? There's the word have inside. Why isn't it present perfect tense? Then, can you see the past participle in the sentence? No, there's only this word have. So here, the word have means own something. We own 2 cars. We have 2 cars. It's simply in simple present tense. It's not present perfect tense, okay? And number 6, had locked. This sentence looks like present perfect tense sentence, but no. If you pay a little bit attention, to write a present perfect tense sentence, we will only use has or have, but we will not use had. Because once you use had plus PP, past participle, it's past perfect tense already. It is not present perfect tense. And number 7, hey, I see has and been. So it should be in present perfect tense, right? Wait a minute, can you see the action verb tidy? It's in ing form, tidying. So it is not present perfect tense, but instead it is present perfect continuous tense. And the last one, we can only see the irregular verb went, then very obvious, it's simple past tense. So only the first 4 sentences are in present perfect tense. And we can see has, have, plus past participle. So once you see has, have, plus past participle, they are in present perfect tense. So now let us take a look at the language form of present perfect tense again. So remember, the language form of present perfect tense, for positive statement, we will see has, have, and then past participle. And then for negative statement, we'll have has, have, not, plus past participle. And for making the present perfect tense question, we will first start with has, have, and then we'll have the subject, and then past participle, and then the end of the sentence. For example, we'll have you finished your homework? So we'll start with the word have, and then the subject, you, and then the past participle, finished, and then the rest of the sentence. So this is the question format of present perfect tense. Okay, so you have a basic understanding of the structure of present perfect tense. But why do we need to add has, have, to show that it's a present perfect tense? Let's take a look at these 2 sentences. The first one, I have my homework. I have my homework. And then the second one, I have finished my homework. I have finished my homework. So the word have appear in both of these sentences. But do they mean the same? What does have in the first sentence mean? And what does have in the second sentence mean? They are not the same, right? The first one, I have my homework. The word have here in the first sentence, it means you own the thing, you possess the thing, you have, okay? You have it. But then in the second sentence, have here doesn't share the same meaning. It doesn't mean own a thing anymore. What is the action in the second sentence? The action should be finished. It's now about finishing the homework. It's not about having the homework. So the have in the second sentence doesn't have its original meaning. Why? Then why do we need the word have in this sentence? In fact, the word have in the second sentence is an auxiliary verb. Auxiliary, this word, it means helping. So an auxiliary verb is a helping verb. What does it help? We'll come back to this one later. And then we have the word finished. Finished, this word is actually the action of the sentence. So we call it the main verb of the sentence. And remember a very important rule. There's always only one main verb in one sentence. There's always only one action in one sentence. And that's why the word have is not considered as an action here. It is only an auxiliary verb. It is to help the main verb to do something. What does it help? Let's take a look at the following slide and you can make a guess. Take a look at these sentences. Basically, these sentences are really similar. They're all about finishing homework. But I changed the auxiliary verb in each of the sentences, and then they would have different meanings. For example, if I say I will finish my homework, you know that when you see will, it's future tense. It means I haven't done it yet. It's something going to happen in the future. The second one, I have finished my homework. So from the meaning, you know that it's done, it's completed. And then I use I am finishing my homework. It's present continuous tense. I use the word am, meaning that I'm doing it now. And then I change the word to didn't, meaning that it's past tense, but I haven't finished, I didn't finish. It's a no to the action. Negative. And then I change the auxiliary verb into should, may, can, have to, ought to. And they all mean differently. The tone of the sentence varies. For example, if I say I should finish my homework, it's a very strong advice and it also shows my determination. If I say I can finish it, it shows my ability that I can do my homework. If I use I may finish my homework, there is some uncertainty. So even the sentences still use the action verb finish. It's still about finishing my homework. But because I changed the auxiliary verb, they all have different meanings. So what does auxiliary verb help? If it is a helping verb, what does it help? If just now you've paid attention to my speech, you should be aware that when I said I am finishing my homework, I have finished my homework, I didn't finish my homework, I will finish my homework. I actually mentioned different tenses, right? When you see am, it's MR, was were, plus ing, you know it's continuous tense. If I use do, does, did, it is simple present tense and simple past tense. If I use will, you know it's future tense. If we use has, have, it's present perfect tense. If we use had, it's past perfect tense. So you can see that these auxiliary verbs, be, has, have, had, do, does, did, will, they are helping to tell the time of the sentence, the tenses. So when you see this auxiliary verb, you know when the action is done. And then we also see shall, should, can, could, may, might, must, or will, would. These words, they don't tell you the tenses. They tell you the tone, the mood of the action. For example, if I say I should finish my homework, it's a very strong advice and showing my determination. If I say I can't finish my homework, it shows my ability. So these auxiliary verbs, they don't tell tenses, they don't tell time, but they tell the mood of the sentences. And we call these auxiliary verbs modal verbs. So remember, these words, they are not the main verb of the sentence. They are not the action, but they are just helping to tell you the time and mood of the action. And that's why they are called the auxiliary verbs. So remember, the auxiliary verb cannot survive in a sentence by itself. It cannot stand alone by itself. If I cross out the main verb finished, it will become I have my homework. Then the meaning will be changed. So the auxiliary verb doesn't stand alone. It has to have the action verb. So in present perfect tense, we really need the have, and then we need the main verb finished, the PP, the past participle, to make a proper present perfect tense sentence. And if we delete the word have without the auxiliary verb, then the tense is changed. Originally, if we have the word have, I have finished, we know that it's present perfect tense. But if you take the have away, then the tense is changed. It becomes I finished my homework. It has become past tense. So it will be wrong if you really want to use present perfect tense. Therefore, if you want to use present perfect tense, you have to use have and then the past participle. So remember, let me repeat one more time of the language form of present perfect tense. You have to use the auxiliary verb have or has, and then you need to use the past participle as the main verb. Sometimes you see ed word, regular verb. Sometimes you see irregular verb like go, went, gone, the gone, do, did, done, the done, eat, ate, eaten, eaten. And that makes a present perfect tense sentence. One more time. You need the auxiliary verb have, has, and then the past participle to form a present perfect tense sentence. You may ask me, what is a past participle? So past participle basically is just a verb, but in this form. Verbs can be in different forms, and past participle is one of them. What does it mean? Let's take a look at these examples. Changing the verb into different forms is like putting on makeup. Let's take a look. So a verb actually has a base form. The original look. It's like before you put on your makeup, that's the real you, your original face, your original look. So the base form of a verb is like your original look without any makeup, without adding anything on your face. No S, no ed, no ing, just the base form. Like these examples. Cook, do, eat, go, put. And then, when you need to go to different occasions, at different situations, you may put on makeup, especially for girls. When you go to work, you may have one kind of makeup. When you go to party, you will have the party makeup. If you go on a show, you'll have a show makeup. So at different contexts, different situations, you put on different makeups. It's just like the verb forms. So in present tense, simple present tense, with third person singular subject, then we will add s or es to the base form of the verb. Like the example, the second column, cooks, does, eats, goes, puts. And then, in another situation, in another occasion, you put on another makeup. So, the verb, there is something else added to the verb. Like in simple past tense, we'll change the verb into the past tense form. Like cooked, did, ate, went, put. And then another situation, perfect tense, then we'll change the verb into past participle. Like the fourth column, cooked, done, eaten, gone, put. And of course, for continuous tense, we'll add ing to the verb. Cooking, doing, eating, going, putting. So you can see that the base form of a verb can be changed into different forms in different situations, just like putting on makeups. And that is called the changing of the verb forms. And in present perfect tense, we always looked at the verb form past participle. Is one kind of verb form. You used it in present perfect tense. That's what we're learning right now. And if you're going to learn about passive voice, you will know that past participle can be used in passive voice, and also they can be used as adjectives as well. But right now, all you need to remember is past participle is used in present perfect tense after has, have, the auxiliary verb. And if you paid a little more attention to the examples that I've given you, you realize that there are actually 3 types of different past participle. The first type would be regular verbs, adding ed after the verb, like cooked. And then there are some irregular verbs. You need to change the spelling of the words, such as done, eaten, gone. And then the last type would be some verbs that are unchanged. You don't need to add anything to it. It's the same as the base form, such as put. There are actually patterns and rules for you to remember how to change the verbs into past participle. Of course, before you can remember all the past participle, there are actually a lot of references online about the list of irregular verbs. You can refer to them to help you memorize more past participle. So before we end this video, let me remind you guys one more time. If you see the word have, has, and then you see a past participle, then you will know that it is present perfect tense. That's all about the language form of making a present perfect tense sentence. We'll learn how to use present perfect tense and the difference between present perfect tense and past tense in the coming videos. Stay tuned.